Ladies and gentlemen, Neil here from Post to Post with a jersey concept video for you. I've actually not sat down in front of a camera in almost exactly a month. I just got home from my trip to the USA. I was gone for an unintended 18 days because of Air Canada. Thank you so much, Air Canada. We'll talk about that soon on the channel. I'll tell you my whole story and how they screwed me a little bit. And also on the channel coming up soon, we're going to talk about my recent visit to the Anaheim Ducks team store right in Anaheim at the Honda Center. It was an interesting experience for sure. I have many things to say about the team store. It was good in a lot of ways and bad in some ways. So keep an eye out for that video in the future. But in this one, we're talking CCM Jersey Takeover, basically, is the series here. The designer is Phoenix Mason. That is his real name. That is an amazing name. I told him this in my reply to him. I believe this is the first time that he submitted something to the channel, but the name Phoenix Mason, if your name's Phoenix Mason, you are destined to do something in life. I don't know what that thing is, but with a name like Phoenix Mason, you're definitely going to do something. So Phoenix, thank you so much for sending in these designs. There are 32 NHL jersey concepts with a CCM bit of a spicy take. So let's see what it is. I'm not exactly sure. I assume the necks are going to be a little bit different, but I've not seen these. This is going to be a reaction video. So let's bring up the first one. It's going to be Anaheim. Let's go. Here we go. Anaheim. So speaking recently of Anaheim, alphabetically they are first, so that's a nice segue. And yes, look at the neck. The neck is a little bit different. If you're not familiar with CCM jerseys, CCM makes the jerseys for, I believe, all of the CHL. If not all of the CHL, I'm pretty sure the OHL and definitely the QMJHL. Potentially others. I don't know what they use in the ECHL. Give me some information down below in the comment section. But CCM is obviously very familiar with making jerseys. They used to make NHL jerseys a while back. But in Phoenix Vision, CCM has the NHL contract again. That's not possible at the moment, as we know, with the Fanatics winning that contract, I guess. But 2 years ago, we had this conversation, and we didn't know. It could have been CCM. So this is a really kind of cool series and project to go through to see what potentially the jerseys could have looked like with that bit of custom CCM neck. Love it or hate it, it's different. We'll talk through it. So in this one, beautiful colors here, just the jersey itself. I mean, I think Phoenix did a really good job with this design. I think there is a bit of confliction with the logo, though, in terms of colorization. We've got a very desaturated kind of plum color or eggplant as the primary color of the jersey, the actual material. But in the logo itself is the more like traditional deep eggplant, rich purple that we see. So there's nothing wrong with having two shades of the same or similar colors, but when they're so close like these are, and there's no, I guess, extra relation, and what I mean by that is that the only dark purple is in the logo. There's no other dark purple anywhere in the jersey, not in the neck, so there's no like balance there. It just feels like one company printed one thing, another company printed the other thing. The colors don't match and you're putting them together. So just a little bit more color consistency. That's really maybe the only very critical thing that could be nitpicky about. But the jersey itself is a lovely design. I even kind of like the little bit of a whimsical striping down below. And then the neck, the CCM neck, I'm probably in the middle mostly with the CCM neck. Sometimes I think it works, sometimes I don't think it works. In this case, I think it looks okay. I don't love the texture that's in there though, but that's a CCM decision, not necessarily a Phoenix decision. It's that texture is in a lot of their necks. Moving on to the Boston Bruins, and again here I would probably call out the color consistency. There's a lighter, almost charcoal gray in the neck here, but you don't see that anywhere else in the jersey. Again, that might be a CCM specific thing. I have a lot of Adidas jerseys. I have some Fanatics jerseys. I have had in the past a lot of Reebok jerseys, not a lot of CCM jerseys. So I'm not an expert when it comes to CCM. I'm not even an expert when it comes to all the other manufacturers. So I don't know specifically if there's limitations in terms of color when it comes to the neck. Maybe you can't get a completely jet black collar, and maybe it has to be the charcoal look. So you can let me know that down below in the comment section. But in terms of the design, very Boston Bruins, very traditional. Nice colors, shoulder patch actually. I like the way that that's done. Moving on to the Buffalo Sabres. Now here's an instance where I think the neck actually kind of works with the texture. I almost like the texture in there. I think it works quite well. In terms of the jersey itself, we're very familiar with this typical kind of blue and gold design from Buffalo, and then I would say their most popular logo. It's not colorized like this currently, but it was in one of the reverse retros. I don't think Buffalo fans would be too upset if this was, the CCM Takeover version But I think they would be okay. They would maybe miss the traditional current one, but this would be accepted. Next, the Carolina Hurricanes. Okay, so maybe CCM can make it jet black, because I can see it here in this design. I think this is okay, but this is where templates do a really good job until you really need to see the physical version. And I think this is a good example. I think we really would need to see a physical version to see how the light would play off the gray, because right now it's just a really flat gray or silver, whatever you want to call it. I think that this design would benefit from a more in-depth, more realistic template or a physical version. This is a really simple flat lay template. It's a great template. I really like this template. I'm pretty sure that this is a very similar template, if not the exact template that I use when I'm doing some of my designs, just for a quick, quick fun. So there's no lighting effects here. But if you did want to get into designing jerseys and you did want a template that was a little bit more realistic, maybe 3D, maybe a little bit more modern with lighting effects, you can get one of those over at sportstemplates.net. It is a fantastic site with so many templates, not just in the hockey world, but across all sports: football, baseball, soccer, basketball. I mean, seriously, all kinds of templates spanning all kinds of sports. I think there are close to 80, if not more than 80. The prices range depending on the template, but there are free ones, there are cheaper ones, and then there are more in-depth, more expensive ones. Regardless of the one you choose, if it does cost money, use my code post to post. It'll save you 10% on whatever templates that you want. You could get 5 templates and save 10%. You could get 1. It doesn't really matter. The discount will apply to any template on the site. And like I said, there's free ones. So if you've already got Photoshop, or maybe use a free editing program, whatever you use that accepts PSDs, hey, go grab one of the free ones and have some fun. So back to this Carolina design. I think this design would really play better in a more modern template or a physical version. It's really flat at the moment, and I'm having a hard time kind of making a conclusive decision on this one, but it's an okay design. Next, the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think this is right on the money pretty much. I really like this design. I think this is a direction that I would really like Columbus to go. Maybe more leaning into that kind of traditional aspect with that Canon logo and not go crazy with the striping. This would be a really good home jersey, and then an inverse would be a really good away. If they wanted to do an alternate, they could lean more into the modern aspect, but I really like this one. Probably my favorite so far. Next, Calgary. Okay, pretty in line actually with what we're familiar with Calgary. I would say that I maybe prefer the Adidas version and the Fanatics version, but this is the fine version. Chicago, a great alternate jersey, I would say, and maybe I would say as well that I would not choose that logo as the primary, but if we were going to use that logo, it would definitely have to be on an alternate jersey. So not bad, but pretty similar to what some designs we've seen in the past from other designers. We've gone to the Colorado Avalanche. Okay, no burgundy here, just the blue, the white, and then leaning into some silver. So I think this looks okay for sure. I wouldn't want them to change their brand to this, but if this was an addition to their brand, like an alternate, like a specialty, whatever, full NHL series run, I'm on board for that. I think this would look very good in a uniform. I can picture the helmets, the pants, and the socks all playing really nicely into this jersey. So good job here, Phoenix. Next, the Dallas Stars. Okay, I think this is a bit weird, and I think it's more so the template than anything. We've got this like armpit section here, and that line stops a little bit too early. I think that striping would have to follow probably the front of the shoulder all the way to that seam of the actual arm versus stop like here above the nips area. That's a really critical, little small thing that I'm gonna mention, but probably most people don't care about that. The rest of the jersey's fine. It's not the best Dallas concept I've seen though. Detroit, yeah, I mean it's pretty similar to what they use now. This is obviously different here. The neck, I would say that I like. I don't mind that split colorization. That's okay. The arms are definitely throwing me off though. Okay, next the Edmonton Oilers, really leaning into that kind of mid 2000s vibe here, but still being a little bit classic with the design, with the logo. That orangish bronze kind of color. I know some people who really love it. I know some people who really hate it. I'm more on the hate it side, although I wouldn't say that I hate it. I just don't like it. I just think the orange is a much more pretty and accepting and vibrant color, and this is just a little bit more dull. Next, the Florida Panthers. Okay, so a great alternate jersey potentially. We see a lot of people that love that logo for good reason. and why not put it on the front of a jersey on maybe more of a permanent alternate, not like a reverse retro or specialty, but a permanent alternate. I think that would look quite well. I guess as I go through this, my mind is trying to are these intended to be home jerseys or are these intended to be away jerseys? The series is really about the CCM Takeover, but in my mind, some of these would be good home jerseys and some of these would be good alternate jerseys. To me, this is an alternate jersey because you're inversing the primary color from red to blue. So you've got blue as a primary here. Great for an alternate, and you're using an alternate logo. So no to a home jersey, but yes to an alternate. Next, the LA Kings. Very funky LA Kings jersey. So the colors are in line with something that I would love to see them do. I've talked about that a lot on the channel. But the logo itself, the way that it's colorized, is very funky. And honestly, it's very busy and it is a little bit difficult to look at, but it feels super retro. It does feel like something that they used back in the day. They didn't, this specific colorization, but it feels like it just by the way that it's designed, and that's not a bad thing. I kind of like how bold it is. So yeah, moving on. Minnesota Wild, pretty much perfect. I don't think I'd change anything here, and I think that the neck, this specific CCM neck with the texture and the way that Phoenix has it colorized is excellent. It matches the striping of the rest of the jersey, not proportionally, but the way that Phoenix has it done is very good. Next, the Montreal Canadiens. Very nice Montreal Canadiens jersey, actually. Like the shoulders and like the shoulder patch that is chosen. One thing that I don't know if CCM does is orientate their shoulder patch like Phoenix has done here. I noticed on a couple of the other ones, I think it was the Chicago jersey that had the logo facing towards us, but in reality, in Fanatics and Adidas, for sure, logos actually point this way. They face this way. So the top of the maple leaf would actually be here and here versus here and here. Does that make sense? So they're facing out and versus facing forward. I will have to look that up after this video to see what CCM actually does. I do have some in my collection, but they're in the tote because I don't have room to hang them in my current location. It doesn't look bad like this. I just think it looks a little bit different than what I'm used to. So maybe I'd probably orientate them out instead of front on, but good jersey. Ooh, the Devils here. This is a very simplistic, but also very plausible jersey. I can see the Devils doing something like this, maybe even for like a stadium series, because this is quite two-tone, but it does feel a little bit modern with the logo colorized like that. So good. Nashville. I've seen concepts like this in the past. Not personally a fan of this. I don't love that kind of alternate guitar pick logo as a primary on the front. I think it looks a little awkward. So I myself wouldn't choose that as a main logo, but it is what it is. Next up, the Islanders. Bit of a mix here between the home jersey and the alternate a little bit. I do like the striping. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 orange stripes in the white on the sleeves and in the bottom of the jersey. I have to assume that's for the notches of Stanley Cups that they've won. You can see that in one of their jerseys, two of their jerseys. I can't remember the jersey, but I believe there's a jersey that has the notches somewhere. I think it's in the arm or I don't know, it's somewhere. But anyways, I do like this jersey. It's good. Next, the Rangers. Wow, a very desaturated blue with NYR on the front. Typically not a fan of that, but I don't mind it here because of the amount of letters that are being used. I talk about this quite a bit. When we talk about angled logos or slanted logos, it gets a little bit annoying when the word is long, like Rangers or Avalanche or Pittsburgh or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. Whenever there's a lot of letters, it means that the logo really has to thin out. Where here, you've only got 3 letters. You can make it quite thick. A good example of this would be the Bolts jersey, the Stadium Series, or the previous Reebok version of that, or the Vegas Golden Knights Reverse Retro 2, where they had just Vegas down the front. It's only 5 letters, so they were able to make it a pretty good size. Where Rangers, that's a lot of letters. And here, NYR, that's only 3 letters. That's like best case scenario. So you put it on there, whether it's slanted, whether it's completely horizontal like this, it doesn't really matter. You're able to make the logo or letters bigger. So good decision here by Phoenix, and great decision on color. I think this is a really good color combination to use. It's not the exact red that they use. It's more desaturated, and it's definitely a different shade of blue. So, and it's a very pretty shade of blue. So great job matching the colors here, Phoenix, in terms of complementary colors. Yes, the Rangers use red and blue, but the specific shades chosen here that Phoenix has used, really good matching. Next, the Ottawa Senators. Okay, 2 things to note here immediately. Number 1, I love the jersey design. I love the kind of retro staged striping look. I think that's amazing. I love the kind of nostalgic look of that. But thing number two that I don't love is the offset of the logo. It's not really Phoenix's fault, and it's not really the logo's fault. It's just the fact that if you take a logo and you put it completely symmetrical in the middle like this, and it is symmetrical, because you have a section of the logo that is completely symmetrical, but with like a wing or a certain other thing on the side, when you take that logo and you make it symmetrical within a thing, the logo looks offset. That's the big issue with this specific logo from the Ottawa Senators. It looks great on the shoulder, it might look great on a t-shirt, but when you're lining it up with other things that are symmetrical on the jersey, and specifically under a neck collar design like it is here, you notice how offset it is. It's not, but visually it is because of that circular aspect. We have teams in the NHL that use circular logos. Carolina, Montreal, Winnipeg, these logos are centered. But here it's offset because of that wing. We also have logos in the NHL which have wings kind of like this, like the Detroit Red Wings, Philadelphia. But the wing section of those is so big, it's almost the same size as the circular aspect. So you don't get that off-balance nature. They almost kind of balance themselves. Where here, those little wings or whatever they are, they're very small compared to the size of the circle. So we have a lot of balance issues here. I'd just cut the wings off, to be completely honest, and I'd move that S lovely shield shape or circular shape right in the middle. It would look, I think it would really improve the jersey symmetrically, for sure. That was a big rant about symmetrical stuff, but let's move on. Philadelphia Flyers, we just talked about them. So see how big the wing section is compared to the circle? They really balance each other. Anyways, this design is probably to pay homage to the Quakers from back in the day. This is a pretty good alternate, I would say, maybe more specialty, like a retro kind of version versus a permanent alternate. But this is nice. Maybe win a classic, actually. Moving on. Pittsburgh Penguins. Whoa, my eyes. To adjust from the orange to this bright blue and like almost purple, I guess it is. Let me switch monitors here just for a second. I have like a really good properly colorized monitor, which is this one, and then this one is just kind of like a regular monitor. So I like to switch back and forth just to kind of to see. Anyway, very pretty colors. I like both. It's very complimentary. Great design. I'm a little bit maybe missing the yellow. I kind of want maybe just a little bit of a yellow pop somewhere in there. But very good design. I like this one a lot. Okay, next, the Seattle Kraken. Okay, so this is new. Look at the shoulder patch here. It's actually not facing forward. It's not facing outwards like Fanatics and Adidas. It's actually facing inwards like this, which is, I've never seen that before. So that's new. I'd flop that. I would mirror that and have them face out. But the jersey itself is quite nice. Like, that's a pretty good alternate. Using the alternate logo as a primary and then having a bit of wave in there that really fits their branding. So good jersey. Next, the San Jose Sharks. Not bad. I don't love how high the striping is up here. I think that would conflict with the numbers a little bit. Don't love that logo as the primary. This is a mix between like modern with the logo and like kind of classic with the striping. Kind of King's striping forward as well, color wise. So let's move on. Oh, very cool. I do like that shoulder patch. That shoulder patch is very nice in there. Again, I would orientate it a little bit differently. Great neck design here. I think the CCM is a good version for this. Yeah, great jersey. Okay, Tampa Bay Lightning. Interesting striping pattern on the arm. It's pretty good. Top logo, like the shoulder patch logo, and then the top, it's a little bit light on the blue. Like, there's so much blue down below at the bottom of the jersey and then the arms, and the neck is so white, and there's only a little bit of blue in the logo. I would remove the blue from the logo. I know I'm complaining that there's not enough blue, but I almost need to see like the neck be blue with a little bit of white just to balance, or add more white at the bottom or something. I find the blue in the logo and the shoulder patch a little bit awkward. So yeah, just a little bit awkward for me. Next, to Toronto Maple Leafs. Pretty much perfect. Yeah, really nice neck, good shoulders, great striping down below. Nailed it, Phoenix. Okay, the Utah Mammoth. Really cool jersey actually here. The neck is amazing. Shoulder patch looks really good colorized like that. That section here with the purple to hold the numbers. The logo might have a little bit too much of a thick purple stroke on it, but looks very good. I even like the blue at the bottom of the arm. Yeah, very, very good design here, Phoenix. Next, Vancouver Canucks. A lot of people, I say we, but when I say we, I'm really talking for the majority. I read so many comments and see so many popular opinions that sometimes when I say we, it gets me in trouble, but the majority of us really like this design, and I think this is a really good version of it. I actually like the offset bit of striping here. It's not flat, it's not straight and horizontal across the seam. It's actually angled up a little bit to kind of match the angularity on the arms, and it almost looks like it's flying. Like the skate has like the movement to it. It's almost like the stripes are wrapping around the jersey as this player skates through the wind, and the stripes are kind of like flying off. It just shows like almost like the speed or something. I can't really describe it, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Wow, the Vegas Golden Knights. What is this? Green. Okay, green and like clay. This one's going to be a miss for me. I don't like the color combination. It's a little bit too bold for me, Phoenix. Next, the Jets. Okay, not bad. I don't love that logo, but I really like the rest of the jersey design. Very simple, very complimentary with the blue and the white and the gray, the specific shades. The neck looks good, matches generally the striping to the rest of the jersey. Just don't like the logo. And then the Washington Capitals is the last one. Pretty generic jersey design. I think we've seen, if you've followed any kind of jersey concepts or hockey concepts, you probably would have seen something similar to this over the past couple of years, whether it was on my channel or just in general online. My favorite is actually going to be a bit of a difficult choice for me. I'm going to have to go back through these. I don't know off the top of my head. There's a lot of really good designs in here, so give me a moment. There'll definitely be a cut in the video here. Okay, I've been sitting here for a couple of minutes going through these. I really like the St. Louis one. I think the more I look at that, the more that I like it. I know St. Louis just came out with some new jerseys and uniforms and stuff, but I really like this design quite a bit. I would change the orientation of the shoulder patches to mention that again. So it's not perfect, but I really like it. The Toronto Maple Leafs one, while very expected, not innovative at all, it's executed very well by Phoenix, so that's a nice jersey. The Utah one, clearly very nice, great colors there. I'm going to go with the Vancouver Canucks one, though. It's really easy to make this jersey look good because it is so retro and classic and it's so loved. But the small little decision just to add some angle to the striping, and you have to think of the history of the Vancouver Canucks as well, where they had like the big V that is controversial in terms of design. It has shades of that. It's almost like it's throwing a little bit of a poke back into history with the angle of the striping. So I have to think that maybe Phoenix is thinking about that. And I also think that the shoulders look really good, just with a bit of an angle there. I think that's just a little bit different. And it has a good relationship with the mobility and almost appearance of movement in the skate too. So yeah, great jersey design here, Phoenix. And honestly, as a first-time designer to the channel, I think you mentioned in your email that you're pretty new to design as well. I think you maybe have said you were a teenager or in school or something. Amazing. Like, really good job. You had some excellent designs in here. Thank you so much for spending the time to send those in. I really appreciate that, and allowing other people to see it. Whoever watches this channel or watches this video, I'm sure they'll see some designs in here that they absolutely love, regardless of who they cheer for. If you are one of those people and you want to leave some feedback down below in the comment section, I'm pretty sure Phoenix is going to be reading the comments, so definitely do that. Whether it's positive or negative, you can leave it constructively. You don't have to be mean about it. Sing him some praise. Give him some feedback to improve things. I'm sure he'll be reading. So thank you to anyone who does leave a comment with some feedback for Phoenix and his designs. And thank you to the viewer for watching this video, whether you leave a comment or not. I appreciate your time. Hope you have a great start to your weekend on this Friday. I am major jet lagged and definitely need some rest for the weekend. And I'll see you next week for some conversations about Air Canada, the Anaheim Ducks team store, and of course some other hockey videos coming down the pipeline. So we'll talk, but probably not till Monday or Tuesday. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you in a couple of days. Adios.